Hello, sexy people. I have some really awesome, badass information to share with you today. I'm going to talk about bacteria and why that is very important in relation to raw veganism, and why you should pay attention to that in terms of breatharianism, why that's important. There's a lot more than just love and light, guys. I have to tell you, that's probably a fraction of what's happening, but there's so much more. I mean, how can you love something if you don't know that it even exists? So if you're about love, I'm about to give you a lot to love. And again, my approach is on the whole aspect of the human body. Is that the human body to me is like a very ancient car. It's just really advanced. It has the ability of being a car, transforming into a jet, and that jet transforming into a starship. And my whole goal on this channel is to show you that that is possible. So just in case you guys haven't watched this video or these videos or this channel before, that's what I'm about. And I do this via nutrition, Western science, Eastern philosophy, and I merge these things all together to give you information that you probably wouldn't normally come across on YouTube, anywhere. So right here, this video talks about this bacteria that eats nothing but electricity in order to survive. Now, again, the reason why this is important is because you have to understand bacteria is a cell. Bacteria is a type of cell. Every cell needs some type of energy to survive. In particular, they need electrical energy. When we eat food, what we primarily do in our body, what we do is we actually break down sugar, like glucose. As far as energy goes, we break down glucose, we break that down, and we split the molecule to release the electrons in it. And we use oxygen to do it. So oxygen comes, it oxidizes the sugar molecule, releases the electrical energy from it. Boom, we have energy, and that's the bulk of it. That's the gist of it. Now, in terms of bacteria are very strange because not only are they cells, but they're known to survive in many different weird environmental conditions. You have, before I discussed this in other videos, but you have bacteria that survive purely on radiation. You have some that survive off pure light. You have some that survive off of heat, thermal energy. You have some that survive off of. They've even encountered bacteria on re-entry on a space shuttle. Unknown bacteria that they suspected came from either the atmosphere or space. So yeah, bacteria are very strange, and the weirdest part is we have more intestinal bacteria and even throat bacteria than every other cell that makes up our bodies. Every other cell. So I think it's very important to understand the potentials of bacteria if we got these things living inside of us. They're basically it's a symbiotic relationship. Now I'm about to tell you something that's going to blow your mind after this article. That's going to blow your mind too. So I'm going to blow your mind probably twice, maybe 3 times. Hopefully I can do 3 times. So all life is ultimately powered by electricity. Now this article is coming from Engadget.com. There's one on popular science. It's all over the place, honestly, if you find it. I'm just reading from this one because as far as an audience goes, it's very just sweet, simple information that you can just have fun with. And if you want to investigate more for those who are science nerds or something of that sort, you can look into it. But this is good enough for me. So it says right here, all life is ultimately powered by electricity. Since most organisms consume sugars that produce electrochemical reactions. Alright? So all life is ultimately powered by electricity, since most organisms consume sugars that produce electrochemical reactions. Several types of bacteria are known to skip the sweets and go straight for electrons. However, researchers have discovered that they may be everywhere. So you have bacteria that don't need to break down sugar. They go straight for electrons. If the electron's there, they go straight for it. The new science, and on top of that, the researchers said they're everywhere. So you have to understand these things are more common than we suspected. The New Scientist report, I think that's a magazine or website. The New Scientist report that biologists have grown bacteria that harvest electrons directly from iron electrodes. Several species were literally teased out of the soil from a seabed floor and deep well in Death Valley, California, just by applying a charge to the ground. In a lab environment, a separate team found that they can be kept alive exclusively with electricity and no other sugars or other nutrients. Now, what's really interesting is that you keep hearing how a lot of scientists say, "Oh, we need carbohydrates. We need carbohydrates." That is true to an extent, depending on the state of your body. You need carbohydrates, but your body can grow and your metabolism can completely change where it does not need carbohydrates to function. There's many different videos I'll make to prove this. Now, okay, I think there's something else cool right here. It says that scientists found that up to 8 species may eat and excrete electrons, including some with remarkable properties. Now, you have to look at this again. Scientists found that up to 8 species may eat and excrete electrons. They eat it and they shit it out. So not only do these bacteria will feed off these electrons, whatever the environment it's in, it will give off electrons too. It sounds like a battery. It sounds like a battery eating and also giving off electricity, like charging and giving off electricity at the same time. Now, why is this even more important? Well, you have to understand is that what people don't really understand is that your intestine, your gut, your throat is not the inside of your body. That's considered a cavity. It's not the inside of your body. And medical science, in technical medical science, they say that your intestine is a cavity. So it's in between your body, but it's not inside your body. If the intestinal flora were to cross that blood-brain barrier, that intestinal wall, into your bloodstream, you will get sick, and actually it would excite your immune system. So your intestine stays actually inside of a cavity inside your body. Without them, you would actually die. So this is really astonishing information, and you have to understand that if they're inside of a cavity, that means the potential to grow a particular type. Like, you don't really have too many other types of bacteria attacking the good bacteria except bad bacteria. Though it is, well, you do have cases where you have good bacteria attacking other good bacteria because they're like, who are you? And they start fighting each other. But for the most part, if one starts changing their diet, then that original bacteria may subside and eventually disappear for the most part, and a new one will start to colonize. So you can actually start changing the different types of bacteria based on the environment that you create in your intestine, i.e. food, diet. All this is basically literally changing an environment. Now, why is this important again? It's important because when you start eating living foods are electrical, meaning that they have electrons within its cell wall. When you start eating this food, you eventually start culturing intestinal bacteria to feed off of off the plant matter and actually pull the electrons directly from the plant matter and start excreting electricity for your body to use. And there's other forms of bacteria that can also be cultured for your body to use and metabolize off of. So that's really something interesting to really look at. You can see that there are species of bacteria that can be grown in your intestine based on, this is what explains why raw vegans can survive off of raw food, is because their body can actually feed off the pure electricity coming from the living food, not the dead food, the living food. And from there, you have other things that can happen after that. But that's what I want to cover right now. It's just that the different types of bacteria and potentials of bacteria that can be cultured within the intestine. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll post one up soon. Thanks, bye.